So the first concept that I want to get on is this idea that quality improvement and process improvement at its core are the same thing. So let me defend that for a minute. I'm going to start here, and I want to see hands up high. Who wants to make your law practice more efficient? Excellent, you fell for it. Efficiency is a terrible goal. And the reason I say this is that it's really not about just getting efficient. The most important thing is delivering value to your customer. I'm going to use the word customer instead of client most of the time here, but for most of you, they might be the same thing. If you're in-house, you probably have lots of customers. And I used to say this was like my main punchline here, but now I'm understanding more as I've sort of studied the philosophies behind the lean and agile movements more, right? It's this concept of quality as perceived by the customer that is really the goal that we're trying to get to. So, and my story about efficiency, right, back in the days before power tools, if you were a woodworker and you needed to put a hole in something in order to join it to something else, you had to use one of these, right, or some other version of a crank drill. And the investment you had to make in actually getting that hole into that piece of wood was high, which meant that you were going to be pretty good at measuring twice and drilling once, right? And that you got to learn this inherent version of quality. You knew where that hole needed to go. And then when these things came along, right, because you already know quality, you already know where the holes are supposed to go, this can make you more efficient. If you already know, if you have the skill and the experience and the process in order to build the fine woodworking that you are trying to build. But if you are a novice, or if you move to this tool too quickly, what do? You just put more holes in more things more quickly, right? You're highly efficient at hole making, but you're not necessarily getting it in the right place. So the key is that you really need to focus on what is this definition of quality, and then the tools can help you speed up. But if you go straight to the tool, you can have trouble. I'm going to backslide a few different times, and this is part of the sort of earliest writing and thinking that I did in this space. But how do we define value? Because that's a term, you know, we often hear in the legal industry, clients want better value out of their legal work or out of their legal spend. And what do we mean by that? So just to break it down very quickly, right, I think at its core, value is the benefit you receive from a particular engagement or transaction, however you want to define it, less the investment you make. And I think it's key not to think of that investment as just a monetary thing, right? There are lots of forms of investment that people have to make, time, energy, effort, resources, which includes money but isn't exclusively money. And of course, there's opportunity costs. The other key thing is that the benefit also can be all of these things, right? It's not always trading money for money. You are trading all sorts of different things for all sorts of other different things. And understanding that this is basically the matrix of possibility is important. And then there's this other problem, is that value is also emotional, right? It's not just transactional. It's not just academic. You have to actually get into and understand how people feel about the work that you're delivering. And this is a very esoteric book that I didn't actually ever get all the way through. But the takeaway that I got from it that I really like is that there's a reason in the English language, at least, that we use the same word to describe economic value and the same word to describe the sense of values, right? And the values that people hold or that entities hold, right? They're kind of related. They really are closely related to each other. So in a lot of ways, the definition of value is satisfying the values that your client holds and making sure that you're delivering your work in a way that does that. So getting back to this definition of innovation that I hit earlier, right? It's something that's new and original and creates value, right? And creates a benefit that's greater than the investment or that satisfies your client's value. Okay,